Welcome to Candid Conversation Season 3, and this is your host Mwangi Cheke. This is where we enlighten minds, inspire people, and enrich lives. Thank you so much for having supported us in Season 1 and 2, and this is Season 3. Tonight I have a beautiful lady here who will be talking to us on anger management. This is, I think, a topic that everyone needs to hear and do something about. I will allow her to introduce herself.
Hi everyone, my name is Olga Apundi. I am a psychologist and I'm currently going through my professional studies to become a counseling psychologist. But I believe that my studies have really helped me to help other people manage their anger.
So one of the things that has been happening, Olga, of late is I have realized that when you watch the news, it is full of reasons to be one, angry, and then two, there's a lot of anger in terms of the reporting, in terms of what has been happening. You see a lot of domestic violence. You see a lot of fights in the recent past. What do you think could be the source of all this anger?
So basically, I would start by what anger really is. Anger is a strong feeling that is a manifestation of different other emotions that are underlow or beneath the surface. So anger is a strong feeling that is coming out because of distress, because of hostility, because of different things that people are experiencing in the environment. And those emotions are manifested through anger. So anger is like the brain's reaction or the body's reaction to a threat. So once your brain or your body perceives a threat, the brain will form neurotransmitters. That is adrenaline, which is a fight or flight neurotransmitter. And when your brain has perceived a threat, then neurotransmitters will be produced, that is the adrenaline, and it will help you to fight or to fly. And anger is an emotion that is going to help you to fight or to fly that kind of situation. So once your body sees a threat, it will produce the adrenaline, and then the adrenaline will help you to react. It's either you're going to react physically, you're either going to react inwardly, that is to yourself, and you're either going to have a passive reaction. So by inwardly, I mean that there are some people who have negative self-talk. They talk about themselves in a negative way, and that is their reaction to an anger or a threat in the environment. There are other people who react openly, that is by bullying others, that is by being sarcastic, that is by insulting others, and that is also a reaction to a threat in the environment. And there are other people who have passive reactions. So for example, you're dating a girl. I'm just saying, if this mostly happens in relationships. You're dating a girl, and then you have made her angry, and you can really see that she's angry. But when you ask her, babe, what's happening? And she's like,
Nothing.
Hakuna, I'm okay. That's passive reaction to an anger. So you put it as in you're giving people silent treatment. You're being very sarcastic. Sometimes you hear your parent, you've not washed utensils, and then they come home and then they're like, kwa hii nyumba, I feel like I'm the only one who does things. As in, they're not talking to you directly, but they're talking to, or they're directing their anger in a different way. So that is that is some sort of anger. And you've asked me about the causes of anger. There are very many causes of anger. In the environment, for example, at work, you might be having a job and the work is too overwhelming, and you feel like you can't really tell your boss that this work is too overwhelming and the deadlines are too strict, and you just feel like you're very tired, and the boiling up or the overwhelming feelings that this work is giving you will make you angry. We can talk about it socially. Maybe you're having an argument with a friend, or you're having an argument with your husband or your boyfriend or something of that sort, and you don't really know how to express it in in a nice way that will make them understand you. So you take it out in a form of anger. Physically, maybe for example you're driving on the road and then you're supposed to be somewhere by in a short span of time. Maybe for example you're coming from Rongai and you need to be in town by 5 o'clock, and it's already for 45, and there's traffic at Nyayo, so you become very angry, and it's not, it's just traffic. It's not something big. So
It's never that serious.
Exactly.
Like
So,
they say, it's never that serious. And at that time, people have taken it seriously. They're
you're
cussing. They're
yes.
doing all manner of things. Now, so is there, when we talk about anger management, is there a way you can acquire the skill that you can control your feeling, you can go back and take charge of yourself? Is there a way of acquiring that skill?
Yes, there are very many ways of acquiring that skill, and you can learn it for yourself, or you can get a professional to help you learn how to manage your anger. But by learning for yourself, you can develop coping skills, because most of the time people really have primitive coping skills to things that happen to them in their environment. So you can develop different coping skills to what you're going through. So for example, you have perceived a threat in the environment. So let's say you are working, or and your boss um is threatening you that they're going to fire you,
Yeah.
or that they're telling you because you've not been able to complete a deadline, or to complete a job or a task, and your boss is there threatening you, and you don't really know what to do about it. So in that situation, you can teach yourself some coping skills. For example, if you find yourself in such a situation, you can decide to take a walk. And by when you're taking a walk, it doesn't mean that you have to go very far. You don't have to go. If you're living in an estate, you can just go to you can decide to go to the Mamamboga place, and then while you're walking to the Mamamboga, you can come up with 3 courses of action. So while you're taking the walk, you can think about the situation, what is at hand. You can decide to say that I'm going to because of this situation, and this situation is going to make me very angry. This is how I'm going to react to it. And you can decide to say step number 1, or course A, I am going to try to talk to the person about it, or to my boss about it, and try to express to them how they are making me to feel. So that is course number 1. If course number 1 is not working very well, or you feel like your boss is too threatening, you can't really go to them and tell them, hey, you're making me feel this way. So you can decide to do a course number 2. Course number 2, you can decide to maybe write it down, because there are different sites. Because we are moving to a digital world, really, and there are different sites where you can write a blog, or you can write a journal. So it's for you, or you can express yourself, or you can express your anger in a creative way, that is by drawing, or doing a graphic design if you're very artistic. So it's just yourself developing the skills, or the coping skills, that will help you to manage that anger. The other thing you can do is mindful self-awareness, because we are human beings, and we can learn how to control ourselves. So by mindful self-awareness, you are able to know the triggers of your anger. You are able to know that if someone does this to me, this is how my body is going to react. And because when you get angry, sometimes your people have different reactions to anger. So some people will have faster breathing rate. Some people will start breathing very heavily. Some people will start shaking. Some people will start running, or throwing tantrums, or running around, or taking things and throwing at others. So by mindful self-awareness, you are able to recognize how your body reacts when you get angry, or how your body reacts when it perceives a threat. So by that, when you wake up in the morning, you can decide to check in with yourself. So when you can wake up in the morning and say, today I'm feeling very moody, or I'm feeling a bit frustrated. So that means that if I go to work, or if I go to my business place, or if I go outside and someone is going to tries to annoy me, this is how my body is going to react. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to avoid all situations that are going to frustrate me. Or if I cannot avoid those situations that are going to to frustrate me, because at work you can't really avoid your boss, you can't really avoid your colleagues. So what you can do is develop make a plan of what you're going to do about that situation. When it comes to you, you can make a plan of, if someone comes to frustrate me at my desk, this is what I'm going to do. I'm either going to walk away, I'm either going to write it down, I'm either going to tell them how I feel. And yes, and that is how you develop mindful self-awareness, by recognizing the triggers and the threats, and how your body reacts to towards anger. And yes, that's basically it.
So what I hear you say is, you've talked about triggers. So those are the things that trigger anger, and for different people it's different things.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
And then the coping mechanisms. So I have this friend of mine who, when we are playing golf, if he misses, if he swings and has a bad swing and the day is not going very well, he gets so frustrated he even breaks
his golf,
the clubs.
Yes.
Yeah, he breaks them and walks away.
Yes.
So for something like that, because it's not the people that he's playing with, it's the situation. So what can someone like that do?
Because anger is really a surface emotion. Anger is a manifestation of other different emotions that the person might be having. You see, so there's this thing that psychologists use. It's called the anger iceberg. And an iceberg, for those people who have watched the Titanic, or for people who are younger than me and do not know what the Titanic is a movie where the people on the ship hits an iceberg, and those people don't realize that the iceberg that they have seen is just 10% of what is below the water.
Yes.
So that is how an anger iceberg looks like. Anger is just a surface emotion. So like an iceberg, what we see as a mountain of ice is just like 10% of what the iceberg looks like. Because under the water there is a big block of ice that we are not able to see with the human, as in we're not able to see it directly. We can only see that the surface one. So anger is like that.
So the manifestation, when you see someone is angry, we're only seeing the tip.
The tip
it's
of
called
it.
the tip of the iceberg.
Yes,
so we're
exactly.
only seeing the 10%.
The 10%.
But we're seeing the biggest thing that we should look out for is the 90%, which is hidden.
Yes.
So how do you unravel the 90%?
So for because we can only see the 10%, which is the anger, the 90% is a representation of other different emotions that have been manifested by the anger that has come out. So for example, the person, like you say, your friend, when he gets angry, he starts when he does not get a score in golf. I don't know what a score in golf means, but anyway, if the person does not get the score in golf, they become very angry, and then they start breaking the clubs. Yes. So when you get to ask them, when you sit down with them and ask them how they really feel, they can say that they feel disrespected. They can say that they feel like they feel as a different kind of emotion. They feel overwhelmed with something. They feel like
disappointed, perhaps.
disappointed. They feel like they are a failure. So the anger is manifesting their failure. The anger is manifesting they feel threatened by other people. They feel so when you really sit down with them and really ask them, they might tell you, I do that because I feel threatened, and this is triggering my fear of failure, because if I fail in golf, that means that I'm failing also in life. You understand?
Yes.
So the anger is manifesting this person's other fear. So the 10% that we see is just 10%. It's just this person trying to express their fear of failure, their fear of something else. Something else is coming
anger
out.
is quite a manifestation mostly of the fear of.
Yes, of something different.
We'll take a break right now, and when we come back, we'll be unraveling more about anger management. This topic is so big that it got a title in a movie, called Anger Management. And so, right here at Candid Conversation, we're talking about anger management. And when we come back, we will be experiencing more of that. Stay tuned right here at Candid Conversation Season 3. Welcome back to Candid Conversations. This is where we enlighten minds, inspire people, and enrich lives. We have been hanging out with Olga, having a good time here, talking about something that happens to most of us, that it has even made itself to the titles of a movie, anger management. That is our focus tonight. And joining us is a friend of mine who will introduce himself and share with us his experience. Karibu sana.
Okay, thank you.
Introduce yourself to us.
Thank you, Mwangi. My name is Guyana Oje. I am a social worker by training, and I'm also a mental health advocate. I'm a volunteer with an organization that champions against a stigma on mental health in Kenya, called Basic Need, Basic Rights. I am so many things. I'm told I'm not an amateur fitness or weightlifter. I'm into weightlifting. At the same time, I'm also passionate about empowering young people. I do a lot of life skills training and youth empowerment.
Awesome.
Yes.
Karibu sana Oje. Oje, kindly share with us your experience, when we are talking anger management.
Okay. Mwangi, my anger comes from things that sometimes most people don't understand. And having gone through those things or platforms that I've mentioned in the organizations that I work with, my experience has taught me to understand why I have anger issues. I live with bipolar, and that is bipolar 2. And it's something that I've lived with for a very long period of time. And in places of work where I used to work before I was diagnosed, people used to make jokes about it, because bipolar simply is a mood disorder. One time you are okay, one time you are just out of the place. And sometimes you can be too much okay that you get agitated. And sometimes small things would make you go down to a level where your anger is triggered. And I've had my fair portion of demonstration of such moments at work and even in personal life. And my bipolar did not just come with anger issues that were portrayed by actions in terms of breaking stuff like she was saying, fighting. I was into serious fights because of anger issues, and also alcohol. Sometimes, like Olga said, you have issues that are intertwined, issues that are actually like she used the iceberg. What is up there, people think is just that, but there are so many complex issues. So one of the complex issues that I've had is the mental health problem. And this mental health problem has other root causes that probably we'll have time to share in the future or in the next show probably. But the most important thing is how probably this came out. It came out because there's something I'm running away from. And because I fear, or I've feared how people will perceive what is down there, I'd want to protect it. So my agitation, my rage will be what I manifest out there to protect it. Yes.
So Olga was right on point when she said that most of the time anger management issues is brought about by a fear of something.
Yes.
And you have brought it very, very well. So Oji, how have you managed yourself this far?
One, self-awareness. And I love what Olga is saying because I'm also a staunch believer on principles that support self-awareness. I train on it. Accepting yourself, and if you study self-awareness into details, you'll probably want to go into two categories. One, just understanding self-awareness, but just on the top. But there's now going deeper into personality. Getting to know what your personality is, getting to know your family tree, some of the things that you borrowed from your people and all stuff that makes you. So that I have done. And I've gone to another level to accept it. So that when something comes, those things that we call trigger comes, I know this will trigger me in this way. So the best way is to block it before it comes. So one, I have accepted myself. I've known I've got anger issues. I know this anger issues is a huge contribution of a mental health condition that I live with. And then two, I've known these are my triggers. If this happens, this is where I will go. And then how do I go about it to ensure that however much they come, because we have life stresses and you're living, no man is an island. You live with people with things and behaviors that you do not have. Automatically there are things that they're going to do that we will not love. Things will happen in ways that you will not like. Those things will push you to act in a manner that you did not plan to act. And such actions could be exhibited in terms of anger. So I'll try my level best. I don't get it right all the time. We are humans. We are human, but at the end of the day.
So sometimes you miss the mark.
Sometimes. And it even happens in my house. It's not something that is away, and I'm talking about an experience that is even happening to date. Sometimes you'd want to say, okay, hi, this kid, like, I have two children. I'm married and I have two children. And I have another one on the way.
Congratulations, you're working hard.
Yes, we are a working nation. So I have this young man in my house that has not taken after me in so many things as compared to the young lady that I'm raising. The young lady is pro-gym, the activities that I do, she's all over what I do. The other guy has taken someone else's route. And most of the time, he does things that I don't like. And I say, this guy is today, I'm not going to make noise. I'm not going. But at some point, I would realize, when it is already done, you screamed. You screamed until the rest of the other people were like, hey, what is happening to the small thing? So, but sometimes I know that always end up with emotional wreck to the young man, but I always find time when I'm down to go make amends, but I'll still make my point very clear. So, like I was telling you, you don't get it right all the time, but we always strive. I always strive to be doing the right thing, because by the end of the day, as a mental health advocate, we're also trying to say that within the opportunities, within the world life opportunities, we also want to be treated the same as those people who do not have a mental health issue. Yes. And how do you claim that position? By trying to live like any other person, as much as you have challenges.
Awesome.
Yes.
Awesome. You know, all of us are still undergoing, you know, being shaped. We are not the ultimate that we'd want to be.
True.
Olga, what would you say about OJ's experience?
I would say that it's an experience that very many people in the society really have, but some of them don't really recognize. And props to you that you have already been diagnosed with it and you're seeking help for it. So there are so many people in society who are living with these mental health disorders, and they have not really sought for the kind of help that they need. So it is for you as a person, as old or young, to seek help for yourself, to recognize your triggers, to know that this is my behavior and it might be hurting someone else. So this is what I'm going to do about it, and go ahead and do and seek for that help. Or you can seek for professional help. You can also seek for help from the people around you. For example, your family. You can just ask them questions like, sometimes when I do this, how does it make you feel, so that you can know how that behavior is affecting yourself and other people. So yeah.
Oh, amazing. So let me ask you, is there, like, can we have like an anger management 101 kind of course? Because I think many people struggle with anger management. Is it possible to just quickly run through, you know, if you have anger issues, kindly try and do 1, 2, 3, 4.
Yes, there are. You can, if you have anger management issues and you have recognized that you have those anger management issues, and sometimes you don't really know that you have these anger management issues. Anger can manifest itself in outwards, like I had explained prior. It can be inward, outward, or passive. So if you recognize those symptoms or those characteristics that you have, you can decide, when you perceive a threat, you can decide to stop or take a break. By stopping or taking a break, that means that you're helping yourself from screaming. Like he had said that sometimes his son would do things and he'd find himself screaming. So if you see yourself that if you see a threat, or if your brain perceives a threat, you can just decide to stop and take a break from yourself. Or you can also decide to distract yourself by maybe listening to music or doing something, an activity that will help you to take your mind out of that situation. You can also decide, like I said earlier, you can decide to go to the internet or write a blog. There are different people who do it in a different way, and I'm not talking about those people who go to their statuses and start ranting. I'm not saying that. That is not a healthy way to do it. But you can decide to take a book or something and write it down. On day this and that, I was going through this and this, and this is what I did, and it is wrong, and so I'm going to correct it this way. You can decide to do anything. The other thing you can do is seek professional help. If it is becoming something that is affecting your social life, it is affecting yourself and other people in the environment, because anger will lead you to other diseases, will make you have other diseases. Although it is a manifestation of other different emotions, excessive anger will lead you to other different diseases such as high blood pressure or heart attacks, because of the high production of these hormones, or because of high production of these hormones. So you can get a person who is getting a heart attack or high blood pressure because of this anger that is boiling up in them. So what you can do is seek professional help. If you feel like you're getting very angry, you're getting in situations that you cannot really help yourself, you can seek professional help, and maybe you can be diagnosed with something different. Like he found out that he had bipolar 2. You can find out that you have something different that is causing you to be very angry. So there are very many different ways that you can do to help yourself to manage this anger.
To manage anger. So there's someone there at home, in the office, wherever they may be, and they have anger issues, whether they have noticed it or not. OJ, could you kindly just speak to them and encourage them? Look at the camera and encourage them, and just let them know what they can do about it.
I would tell them that there is no formula to this. But borrowing from my experience, I would say, one, start by doing a stock of your life. The things that you find yourself, the things that are, when done or when it's done to you, would trigger those or trigger your anger. So I would tell them, like, what works for me. I love sharing my experiences because I believe most people learn through other people's experiences. So for me, when anger rocks me, I rock it out in the gym. I find activities that are seriously engaging, like something that will make me sweat, something that will make me shift my thinking from that particular moment to other things, and allow me to look at that situation away from it. So for example, if the situation that would or the situation that triggered me is in the house, I would leave the house, do something else, take a walk. I do readings, but most of the time I read when I'm calm. So I will take a walk out of the house. Most of the time is the gym. While at the gym, I will reflect on what happened in the house. And then, most important thing that people don't really take serious, because when you're angry, you're not angry, most of the time you're not angry at an object. You're angry at people that have got feelings, people that have got emotions. Anger is as a result of suppressed emotions, the things that are below, the iceberg, the main iceberg, not just the tip, the main iceberg. They are suppressed emotion, things that you've not dealt with. So when I say self-awareness, I talk about explore those things, that you take stock of those things that you've not dealt with, deal with them. Because most of the time, when trigger comes, those are the things that you'd want to show. Actually, those things that triggers me most of the time is not even what has happened in the house, it's what has happened outside the house. So sometimes, when I want to look at it objectively, I'd have to move out of the house to see whether it is in the house or out of the house. If it is in the house, then I will now come back, one, apologize, of course, and then find ways of sorting that situation in such a way that everyone else's emotion is taken care of. If it is out of the house, then also find ways of dealing with it in such a way that my professional space is taken care of, my personal space is taken care of, that can also allow me thrive with the challenge that I have, or with my mental health condition that I'm living with. Yes.
There you have it, folks. Anger management, quite a topic, but I like the way we have had Olga telling us how we can gain the skills on going through the seas of life and avoiding the huge iceberg called anger, and just managing it, right? And thank you so much, OJ, for sharing your life experience on how you have managed to do this. And I pray and hope that you keep going, all right? And thank you for coming and sharing with the world, so that we can all make the world a better place. This has been a Candid Conversation Season 3 with your one and only Mwangi Chege. See you next week, same time, same place, right here at Candid Conversation. Thank you.